Thank you. So I'm going to talk a little bit about Athena SWAN and the activities that we've been conducting within the department over almost a decade now. And I think it's fair to assume that probably most people in the room have heard of Athena SWAN in some capacity or other, but you might have a bit of a range of understanding of quite what it means for us within the department. So I'm going to give you a very brief introduction to what it is and why we have it, and then I'm going to hand over to 3 of our working groups to give you an update on their recent activities. So women are underrepresented in academic medical sciences and also in across most STEM subjects. And this is especially true when you think about the most senior leadership roles. So just to start off with, I wonder whether you could think about our department. So we have 212 members of staff as of the end of the summer in 2019. So 212 members of staff in this department, and that includes all of our professional and support staff and our research staff. And what's your impression of this department? Do you think there are more men or more women in the department? And I'm just going to take a straw poll. So if you think there are more men in the department, put your hand up now. And if you think there are more women in the department, put your hand up. Yeah, brilliant. So we're all aware of the situation that we work in a female-dominated environment. And in fact, this is true for both professional and support staff and for research staff. So 70% of the people who work in our department are women. So now think about the professors in our department, and I wonder if anyone wants to have a guess at the proportion of professors that are women in our department. Shout out if you've got an idea of the percentage of female professors that we have. Go on, someone have a go. 17? 20? 30? Ah, brilliant. So I mean full professors, yeah. So 30% of the professors in our department are women. And this isn't a picture that's just true for our department, it's really common. And in fact, it's so common that the plot that you can show of research staff across the different levels of seniority has its own special name. So this is called a scissor plot. And it describes this very common pattern of a very high proportion of women at the more junior levels of research roles. But once you get up to the professorial level, you see a complete switch in that pattern. And it's this picture that really stimulated the need for the Athena SWAN process. So this was a charter that was launched in 2005. And it's really the idea is to encourage and to reward and recognise both institutions and departments that show a commitment to changing this situation and advancing gender equality in higher education and research. And we've been involved with Athena SWAN since 2011. We were awarded a bronze award for our activities in 2013, and then we were awarded a silver award in 2015, and both of those awards were under the leadership of Liz Tunbridge. And then in 2018, we had our silver award renewed until 2020. And these awards are really a recognition that the activities that we've been taking part in within the department and that many, many people have been involved in have started to have an impact on gender equality within this department. So although 30% female professors is clearly inconsistent with the rest of our pipeline, we've actually made some progress within this area. So 30% is a lot more than the 14% that female professors that we had in 2013 at nearly the start of this process. And of course, last year we had the first female clinical professor within our department, Belinda Lennox, and that's really a cause for, of course, personal celebration for her, but as a department, a real step change for us as well. So the approach that we've taken towards Athena SWAN within the department recognises that gender equality within the workplace is a pretty tricky issue. And so there's no kind of clear, easy fix to the many complex barriers that people can face to their career progression. And the evidence suggests that if you make a positive and supportive workplace environment for everybody, if you introduce clear possibilities for people to get involved in things that will progress their career, if you make the opportunities fair and transparent, that everybody benefits, but actually minorities tend to have a disproportionate beneficial effect from that. And that kind of makes sense, doesn't it? So the minorities don't typically fit well into the more opaque, old school ways of doing things. And so this is really the approach that we've taken within the department. Rather than having lots of specific things that are particularly focused on trying to give women good opportunities, we've actually just tried to make our workplace a positive and supportive and transparent environment for everybody. And this is really one of the key principles of Athena SWAN, that academia can't reach its full potential unless it can benefit from the talents of all. So we've taken a number of steps to improve our workplace culture, and many of these things will seem so obvious to you now and so part and ingrained in our workplace culture that they perhaps don't even seem like changes. But we've developed and introduced annual personal development reviews for all staff within the department. We've done lots of things to improve the dissemination of information within the department. So hopefully staff feel like they're a bit more connected with what's going on, and things like the head of department briefings, the departmental newsletters, Katie Breeze being in existence are all parts of trying to improve the way that information is communicated. We provide regular opportunities for feedback within the department. So we have regular staff surveys, student surveys, focus groups on particular issues. And we really want to understand what it's like for everybody to be part of this department. We've developed our support for funding applications, and you're going to hear a bit more about that from Lawrence and Sana. But things like the Wednesday department research meetings, the opportunity to get feedback on your ideas are all part of that. We've improved the induction and probation processes for new starters within the department. We have many more career development events. We have bullying and harassment advisors and a whole range of staff wellbeing activities, Monday lunchtime, yoga, away day stretching, that kind of thing. So this is the way that our Athena SWAN activities are organised within the department. We have an Athena SWAN SAT, which is a self-assessment team, which is another name for the Athena SWAN committee. We meet 6 times a year. And then we have a whole range of different working groups who focus on different aspects of the department. And we're going to hear from 3 of these in a minute. But just before I hand over to them, I wanted to pick up on some of what Kate was talking about in terms of student mental health and think about how it relates to staff mental health as well. And I think it's fair to say that academia has been given a fairly bad press of late. So if you're not reading about poor student mental health in the newspapers, you're probably reading about how awful it is to be an academic. And of course, recently we've had strike action, and some of that strike action has been focused on poor pay and working conditions. And I think, actually, it's fair to say that we're relatively protected from some of the things that are causing many academics to have such a difficult time within academia. And in particular, we typically don't have these excessive work teaching loads that many academics are facing at the moment. But even if we look in more research-intensive type cultures, there's also evidence to suggest that research culture can have a very negative impact. And this is a Wellcome Trust report that many of you may have seen that came out last week, suggesting that poor research culture is having a very negative impact on people in terms of stress and mental health, with high levels of bullying and harassment, and many academics within these research cultures experiencing poor mental health. When we have surveyed our own staff, we do see a very different picture. So I'm pleased to say that I don't think that our research culture is as negative as the picture painted by this report. However, many of the things that are challenging within academia are obviously we're not buffered from. So short-term contracts, high peaks in workload, regular rejection and negative feedback are all part and parcel of being an academic. And so within the department, we're keen to think about how we can make a response to this and continue to take steps to embed a positive mental health culture within our department. We're right at the start of this process, but one of the things that's occurred to us very early on in this process is just because we're a department of psychiatry doesn't mean that we're necessarily experts in this area. So we're going to be working in the next few months with the Charlie Waller Memorial Trust to take their advice on what extra steps we can take to promote a whole organisation response to really embed this positive culture within our environment. So hopefully we'll have more to tell you about in the months to come. But if anyone does have an interest in this area and wants to come and talk to me about it, we'd be really keen to hear about your advice or insights into the sorts of things that we can be doing within the department. And more generally, that applies to everything that you're going to hear in this little session. So I think our approach to Athena SWAN has been to think that the more people we can get involved, the better. Everybody comes with their own insights, their own skills. And so if you'd like to get involved in any of the working groups or have anything else that you feel like you could contribute, please let me know.